What is up, y'all? Listen, if you missed out on Peak Partnership 2022, then you have been living in absolute FOMO for an entire year. And you know what? I don't want that for you. But I got good news for you. Peak Partnership 2023 is coming up. So, man, we can't wait for you to join us in Orlando, Florida. It's February 17th through the 19th. And I'll tell you this, it'll be an even bigger and better event. We're talking more people to network with, more opportunities, more multifamily opportunities, awesome headliners, and of course your boy Tyler Devereaux is going to be up there speaking as well. It's the event of the year, and I can promise you this, you will not want to miss out. So listen, visit mfmpeakpartnership.com. I'll say it again, mfmpeakpartnership.com for more details and to reserve your seat right frickin' now. This event is going to be epic. You do not want to miss out, so click the link in our description to register. Sincerely, what are you waiting for? Click the frickin' link, mfmpeakpartnership.com, and register, and I cannot wait to see y'all there. Aloha.
Welcome to this episode of the Growthcast. It is me, Jackson Campbell, joined again with Dallas Pruitt for another extended cut episode this beautiful Saturday. We are joined here together actually on a Saturday morning. Dallas, you're getting ready to leave on a big hunt. It's actually been a goal of yours. So we jumped in a week prior. We jumped into a week prior to get this bad boy recorded. But we are excited to be here. Dallas, how are you this morning?
Dude, I'm doing so great.
Good,
And you guys don't know this, but me and Jackson were able to jump on and gain clarity and like go through all the things that we go through and teach on a regular basis. Cause again, we're with it. Like we're not just teaching it, we're with it. We're trying to become better ourselves. And it's just something I look forward to, man. Like find you a friend like Jackson Campbell. Tyler says that often. I will just find you somebody who is with it, meaning this stuff the same way, we all are. And can't underestimate the power of having somebody by your side that you can, riff with yourself and work through some problems and challenges and things that you're experiencing and look for clarity and find answers and solutions and think outside the box and grow together, I don't know.
I appreciate
that's maybe
that,
a different way to lead off, but
no, dude, I appreciate that so much.
For everybody.
And I appreciate that, Dallas. Thank you so much, dude. But it also is a really good actionable, right, dude? I like having Dallas to be able to riff things off of when I'm frustrated or when I've caught myself in my own fixed mindset. Just to be able to have that conversation and hold each other accountable, right? Our conversations, Dallas, aren't always super easy conversations to have.
No.
Sometimes I got to call you out on your shit. Sometimes you got to call me out on my shit. And that's just is what it is. So before we dive in.
That's what I was going to say about it, man, is like, it's not a friend that you go to and they're like, oh man, like, I know it's tough. Like, no, that's not what our conversations look like. It's not a pat on the back of like, although there is validation of feelings, right? Like we're entitled to feel a certain way about things, but we don't get stuck in those feelings. We're literally trying to grind through gaining clarity so that we can feed our growth mindset within the circumstances and situations we find ourselves in on our journey. And so that's what I love about it is, and again, the invite is to find a friend that's not just going to be like, hey, you're right. Like you're amazing. You're awesome. You're this. It's like, no, I know Jackson's that. That's exactly why I'm coming to him. I know that I'm capable too. I literally need somebody to have a hard conversation with me. I need somebody to help me grind through some problems and speak truth, not speak to my feelings. Validate them, sure, but like, I don't need somebody to pat me on the back and, and I just think that's like one of the most important pieces to that whole piece is find somebody like.
Dude, I couldn't agree more. It's been a massive tool and thing that I've used in my growth. And I know that you've done the same, dude. And I know that Tyler does the same too with both of us. It's a powerful thing for sure. Find yourself a friend. And it actually leads into what we're going to talk about today. Before we get into the actual topic today, just a quick reminder to like, share, rate, review, wherever it is that you're listening to the podcast so we can gain more followers, gain more listeners. We want to impact as many people as possible. So by y'all doing that and sharing the episode, it helps us with our purpose, which is to help y'all with your purpose.
Can I add one more to the intro?
Yes, absolutely.
And also, if you're looking to attend Peak, which you should, we want you there. Jackson and myself are going to be there. There's going to be a lot of other high-level individuals looking to connect and move their businesses and their lives forward with more growth and more opportunity and everything else. There are links in the description for Peak. There are links in the description to invest with us as part of MF Capital Partners. And Jackson can speak more to that, the fund and everything else. The book of the month, right? Mindset by Carol Dweck. We've embedded a direct link so you can go grab that copy and add it to your library. And you'll also see that we have some new things we'll be launching out this year that are coming out very soon. And you can find all of those moving forward in the show descriptions every single day. And that's always an actionable and always an invite is to learn with us, invest with us, join us, be a part of this growing community, and find ways in which you can continually adopt, feed, and live this growth mindset in all the things that you do. So you can find those in the description.
No, yes. Thank you for adding that for sure. Can't wait for Peak. Peak is going to be a powerful, powerful event. We're going to be there. We may even have some growth cast type stuff at the event. So definitely look for us while you're there. But like Dallas is saying, definitely reach out if you have any interest in educating yourself in multifamily real estate. If you have capital you need to put to work, please reach out to us at Multifamily Capital Partners as well. We can definitely put that capital to work for you. But let's dive in here, Dal. Let's dive in, man. So last week we talked about how we're going to be starting kind of a new topic this year moving forward. And we're going to pick a book of the month, and then each extended cut, we're going to talk about some sort of principle that's within this book. Last week, we broke down 4 steps to adopt living and having a growth mindset. Today, from the book Mindset by Carol Dweck, that's the book of the month this month. If you aren't reading it, definitely challenge you to grab that book and give it a read. Give it a listen. It's a fantastic book. Last week, we talked about the 4 steps to adopting and living a growth mindset. Today, we're going to kind of break down the differences between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset and put in some actionables that you can
we almost got
use.
ahead of ourselves, didn't we? It was like we almost didn't break down a super important piece prior to moving into, but I'm glad you caught that. You caught us in error-ridden thinking. So let's retrace our steps and bring some clarity to the forefront.
Awesome. Let's do it, Dow. Fixed mindset and a growth mindset. As we dive in here, I want to hear your quick definition of a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. But I also want to make sure that we pull out some actionables that we can use to identify that we're having a fixed mindset and what we can do when we're having a fixed mindset to get us back to a growth mindset. But go ahead, Dal. Do you have anything you want to start off with?
So, I mean, I could give a basic definition, and I will here in just a second, like a super direct definition of what a fixed mindset is, but I like to relate it to something that is very just tangible for people in life, like something that maybe people have experienced before. So I'll speak to an experience that I had early on in my life, where when I think of a fixed mindset, this is where I go, right? Like based off the definition. I'll share the definition. The definition is that of a fixed mindset is that intelligence, your IQ is static, that it has a certain threshold, it has a ceiling, and in certain areas of life, and like once you meet that, there's no more learning, there's no more development, right?
Right.
And that's a pretty basic, simple way to think of it. And going back to childhood, I was somebody who really hated math. Like I had really ill feelings towards math. I'm sure like a lot of kids. And I remember when it started to get difficult, algebra, right? Numbers and letters and new signs and things like that, multi-step equations, was really where my fits started to like things just started to really piss me off in math at that stage. And I remember coming home, and I remember my mom and dad telling me this is so weird that this is like such a core memory of mine. I remember I went to my mom and I said, "Mom, I need some help on math." And she said, "Oh, dang." She looked at it and she was like, "Sweetie, I'll be honest. I can't help you with this." And I was like, "Well, that doesn't work." And she was like, "Well, I can't help you. Like, honey, you need to know, like us Pruitts, we're not good at math." And I was like, "Oh, sweet." Like I kind of started to navigate and feel like open to the idea of like, well, I got an excuse now.
Yeah.
Like, right. So, and then I went to my dad and it was the same thing. He literally gave me almost verbatim the same response. He kind of chuckled and was like, "What the hell is this? Who's giving you this?" And I'm like, "My teacher." And he's like, "This is useless. Like, I can't help you." Sorry, us Pruitts, we're not good at math. And I just remember being able to justify lackluster effort from that point forward.
When it comes to math.
In math.
Yeah.
Like everything else was great. Writing, like all the other subjects.
And what it did there too, real quick, I want to point out what it did there too was it justified the difficulty. It justified it with being different. Like, it's okay that it's hard. It's just hard for us. Yeah. So it's just going to continue to be hard, and it's not going to get any easier because we're not good at it.
But it also like diverted like any, sound thinking around like anything that involved math. So I don't even just mean like math class, but like at a young age, there were things about me that I started to kind of weed out of my options, banking.
Because you weren't good at it, because there was a mindset.
Dude, investing, right? Like, is that relatable for us here? It involves money and numbers. And it was like, I started, little did I really not know at the time, I was creating this super negative relationship with money, because money involved numbers and business and entrepreneurship. Like, this is really crazy for me to even speak it out loud, because like, dude, you've known me for quite some time. This is not me tooting my own horn, but like, dude, I thrive in this space. This is me.
Yeah.
This is me. Now, I'm not setting my bed saying I can't be anything else, but like, I delayed a lot of time in my life diving into something that I thought wasn't, or had created the decision long before and got stuck in the fixed mentality and had decided that it wasn't for me. Why? Well, because I am me, and numbers have a ceiling with me. Math has a ceiling with me. And so, it's just that's what a fixed mentality is. Whereas a growth mindset in that, we can even stay stuck on that specific example. A growth mindset is the truth that intelligence, IQ, can be developed.
Right.
Across all fronts. And I did not have that belief. Right? Like, I didn't even know what a fixed mindset was. I was stuck for years in a fixed mentality. Now, I got to college, and what's crazy is like, you started to grasp it a little bit. I had to take math 1010 and then math 1050. And I had to get I got a tutor. A tutor helped me. And I took a 1010, 1050 class combined. And because I just wanted to get all my math out of the way, right, for that bachelor's degree. And anyways, I got through it, and I grew, and I learned that like, oh my gosh, I actually can learn a little bit here. And there were like these little glimpses, these little windows where it was like, oh, like where I started to taste a growth mindset, in my college experience in that specific lane of my life. And what's crazy though, like, I'll bring this up and then we can go to questions and dive even further into this, Jax, but it's like, there's areas of life, again, relating this back to the listeners right now, that to all of you is, there might be some really hard challenges in your life where you've already kind of fell into that trap, but like, think about something you're good at that excites you, where you've seen progress. Do you act the same? Do you make the same kinds of beds for yourself in those areas? And the answer typically is no. The answer typically is no. Yeah, I have an example. So one of those areas for me was baseball, sports. I was skilled. I had some athleticism. I wasn't like a premier athlete or anything, but I had some skill sets there, and I saw some success, and I had some confidence through that success and progress that I saw. But again, like, let's trace it even further back. What was my dad? My dad was an ex-Division I baseball player. Right. And what were the stories that I was told as a child? Like, hey, you want to know what us Pruitts are good at?
Baseball.
Your uncle played in the minors, right? Hadn't it been for some drug addiction and whatever, like, we'd probably be watching him on TV.
Yeah.
Your pops was fast as shit. And he, was a punt returner and a kickoff returner and all these things in football, and in baseball, he played shortstop. And it's like, I just like got this motor rolling. And it was like, I remember from a young age, it was like, well, dude, you're destined to be a baseball player, and you're good at it. You're good at baseball. And it was like this intelligence, right? This part of my brain that tapped into something, which was a growth mindset in that space. Why? Well, one, because a perpetuated story was told to me about me that I decided was true.
You had
right?
a belief. You had a belief.
But two, I had a belief that I could be developed in that space.
Right.
And so my actions, my effort, everything else matched everything there. And I worked damn hard at baseball, and I saw lots of progress in baseball. My belief system in that space was a lot higher than my belief system somewhere else. But again, coming back to growth mindset and fixed mindset, it does not differentiate, meaning like it doesn't matter whether you're good or bad at something through a talent that you were blessed with, right? Like from birth or genetics or whatever, a story.
Yeah.
You can and should and need to adopt the right type of mentality within every single circumstance and situation that you ever face. And the true principle is that IQ, intelligence, is something that can be developed anywhere, anytime, in any circumstance, in any situation. And you can literally go out and do whatever the hell you want and get better at it. Sure. Like, you got to look to reality. Like, I'm not going to go out and play to, in the majors right now at 35, play baseball. But man, by hell, if I can't make progress, by hell, if I can't like figure things out at a really high level, if I just give time and energy to whatever it is that I want to develop. And that all starts right here, making a decision and understanding that the truth is I can develop myself to become whatever the hell I want to become. Right. And I can become good at whatever I decide I want to become good at. It just takes time and effort, and it takes the right perspective in all these different, areas of life as things pop up, challenges, setbacks, and we talked about that last week, success of others, right? The way we view effort and all those other things. And so, but it's that initial belief, like come back to it all the way to a very simple thing. It's just the actual belief system of my intelligence and my brain and my body and my skills and who I am as a person can and should be developed ongoing forever throughout the course of time. And I should use my agency to decide how and what I want to get better at. Right. And it's just that first initial belief system. Dude, right. So I don't know.
Awesome, man. While you were giving those two examples, you said something that really stuck out to me. And it really comes back to having a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. And that moment a challenge pops up, you have the ability to make the decision on what attitude you're going to have to face that challenge. Yeah. Right? You said while you were giving that example, you said, do you have the same sort of excitement, attitude, energy going into a challenge that's difficult as you do as when a challenge that is something that you like to do pops up? For example, you gave the two examples of math and baseball. If a challenge popped up in baseball, Dow, how did you act?
Oh, dude, I was the first guy that played. There was a guy in high school. His name was Mark Pollock. He got drafted in the first round, and people were scared shitless of him in high school because he threw 95 miles an hour as a high school kid. Right.
You saw a challenge.
But when I saw that got me excited to get into the plate. Like I literally ran to every single at bat, just jacked to go out and grow. And because I believed that I could compete. I believed that I could produce. And the higher the scales grew, the more excited I became. Not math, dude. Like I was shitting bricks when I had to go take my 10-10, 10-50 test at the university to like get a C and make sure that I like got credit for the class and I could like move on to graduation. I hated that. I did not run. If I could have diverted away from it, even in that moment, I would have been like, oh, phew.
So if you could have made the decision in that moment to have the same attitude towards math that you did towards facing this pitcher that it ended up playing in the bigs, do you think that math would have been a lot quicker, a lot easier, and a lot
I think if I could have tapped, I don't even just think, I absolutely know that if I could have tapped into my growth mindset and really understood it at a much higher level when I was 16 years old in math versus how long that onslaught, lasted between then and when I figured it out. I mean, maybe my life's entirely different. Financially, I think my life would be different. Yeah. I think that my decisions would have been impacted. Am I grateful for all the things that have transpired because of not figuring out? Absolutely. But to say that it wouldn't be different, time would only tell how different that would be.
It's just a great example, dude. It's just a great example to pull from, man. It's like, be excited about these challenges. I think that's what we're trying to pull out here is like when these challenges do pop up, don't run from these challenges. Have a abundant growth mindset that you are capable. You are capable, that you're able to do that. It reminds me of this section in the book. Do you mind if I read this section?
Read it.
Now?
Read.
So from the book, Growth Mindset or Mindset by Carol Dweck. Again, if you're not reading this, definitely grab it and read it, or at least add it to your list. If you're already reading something, that's awesome. Proud of you for reading, but at least add it to your list. It's a fantastic book if you haven't read it. But this section says the following. It's right in line with what we're talking about. People are all born with love of learning, but the fixed mindset can undo it. Think of a time you were enjoying something, doing a crossword puzzle, playing a sport, learning a new dance. Then it becomes hard and you want it out. Maybe you suddenly felt tired, dizzy, bored, or hungry. Next time this happens, don't fool yourself. It's the fixed mindset. Put yourself in the growth mindset. Picture your brain forming new connections as you meet the challenge and learn. Keep going. Right? So these same challenges that pop up in things that we enjoy to do, it's very easy to push these wants and these feelings of, oh, I got to quit. I got to stop. I got to seek safety and seek comfort. When we're doing something we like, it's very easy to push those things to the side because we're growing and we can see it. But even when it pops up, for like in this example, you're doing math, even when it does pop up of where you're tired or dizzy or bored or hungry, remember that is the fixed mindset. What it is, and what a fixed mindset is, dude, is trying to keep you safe, right? It's trying
prison.
A lot of times fixed mindset leads to desire to look smart, when at times you're wrong, right?
It's captivity. Like, I don't want to sugarcoat it. A fixed mindset is captivity. A fixed mindset is prison, right?
And a growth mindset is abundant. When I think of growth mindset, I can't see, like, I think of, when I hear growth mindset, it automatically changes in my mind to an abundant mindset, that the options are endless.
Free will, freedom.
That my ability to overcome problems and find solutions to difficulties is endless. It's abundant.
But also, like, it's on you. You get to decide what the future looks like. You get to decide what you do with your life. You get to decide what you're good at. You get to decide what gets your time and your energy and where you're going to, benefit from the compounding effect and all these things, right? Like freedom. The growth mindset is free will. The growth mindset is freedom. And
making that decision to dive in deeper, to solve this problem. So I wanted from that little section in the book, I just wanted to give a challenge to everybody this next week. As y'all are working hard, you look up at the clock and it's 3:00 in the afternoon and you're tired and you don't want to work anymore. Remember that's the fixed mindset telling you to seek refuge, seek safety, seek comfort, when in reality, you're working to create a better life and a better something for yourself. So keep that abundant mentality and that growth mindset at the forefront as these challenges pop up, because being able to hunker down and continue towards your goals is really what's going to set you apart and help you develop a growth mindset in everything you do. So that would be my challenge for everybody this upcoming week.
This is another little excerpt that I wanted to share from the book that ties perfectly into today, and there's some actionables laced in this. And Carol Dweck said, we often see books with titles like this, and this is very applicable to here because of what we do and what we talk about, right? We often see books with titles like The 10 Secrets of the World's Most Successful People crowding the shelves of bookstores, or you hear those on things like the podcast, even our podcast at times, right? And these books may give useful tips, but they're usually a list of unconnected pointers like take more risks or believe in yourself, right? Yeah. While you're left admiring people who can actually do that, it's never clear how these things fit together or how you could ever become that way. So you're inspired for a few days, but basically the world's most successful people still have their secrets. And maybe you felt that way before, right? But instead, as you begin to understand the fixed and growth mindsets, which is what we're trying to do this month at a really high level and always, right? You will see exactly how one thing leads to another, how a belief, which is what we talked about today, that your qualities are carved in stone leads to a host of thoughts and actions, and how a belief that your qualities can be cultivated leads to a host of different thoughts and actions, taking you down an entirely different road. We talk about how, at MFM, we talk about how we're a mindset first company, right? Thoughts produce feelings, and feelings produce actions. And really, like, you wonder why we're so passionate about growth mindset. Right? Well, it's because of this. It's because we're not in the business of just sharing cool secrets with you. We're in the business of helping weaponize and empower you. We're in the business of helping you be able to be your most powerful weapon, not some book, not some article, not some other tactic, but literally you, tapping into you, truly the highest version and potential that you have as a person. And throughout the course of my career, there is one thing that I have found that allows people to do just that. And then everything else becomes additional, right? Everything else is bonus. Everything else adds to, and that is mindset. That is understanding this one empowering, freaking unbelievable truth that, and she put it perfectly here. Instead, as you begin to understand the fixed and growth mindset, you will see exactly how one thing leads to another. First, you have to figure that out. And then how a belief, right, that your qualities are carved in stone leads to a host of thoughts and actions. It no longer is that, right? It's a belief that your qualities, your skills, you as a person, your business, whatever, can be cultivated, leads to a host of a million other new and better and different thoughts. And those thoughts produce amazing feelings of hope and freedom and all the things that we just talked about, which ultimately make you act and behave like a completely and utterly different person in math, in baseball, in parenting, or whatever the hell else you want to be really good at. So
awesome. Dallas,
powerful.
So powerful. As we wrap up here today, again, just a challenge to everybody to live, adopt, and feed a growth mindset. A growth mindset, like Dallas has always said, like Ty says, like I try to say as much as I can, is it's strategic. It happens by design. A lot of times when challenges pop up, all you really need to do is slow down and make a decision to have a growth mindset. Slow down, make a decision to have a growth and abundant mindset when you're leading into these things. And like Dallas just got done reviewing, it will affect every aspect of your life if you can really adopt this mindset and have it. It will affect every single decision you make, every relationship you have, and every aspect of your life. It's seriously a principle that's life-changing. I'm so glad we're starting January with this book.
Yeah, it's been a fun one to start off with.
It's such a good one to dive into, to set the year off right here. Dal, is there anything else you wanted to add from today's studies that you wanted to share?
Yeah, you just kind of reviewed it. I would just go back and I mean, if you need to go back, but just to quickly review, just steps, right? Like understanding that again, from last week leading into further detail this week and a deeper dive is a fixed mindset dwells in all of us, right? And just knowing that is empowering, right? And then being able to recognize the triggers that, like, whether it's math for you right now, like me, or, a conversation with a parent, which also was part of my situation and experience, right? Or whatever it is, like recognize when those triggers pop up, that your fixed mindset's bleeding to the forefront, right? And then we talked about giving it a name, and then literally like ongoing, educating yourself, ongoing, becoming your most powerful tool for change, becoming the most powerful tool you need for success. Like literally that's you. You are the most powerful tool. And that's how you become that most powerful tool, is by being able to proficiently go through that day to day, every day. And it's not that you're hyper focused on it and stressed out. It's just literally like cultivating your skill set ongoing around those. And I think about you, and I think about since the day I met you the first time versus where you're at now, you know how to do that. You know how to proficiently do that. Because why? Why do I know? Well, one, I've seen a lot of change in you, but two, you helped me. You talk about that conversation. Let's bring it all back full circle to the very beginning and say, hey, go find you a friend like Jackson. Well, like, I know, because when I need help and I'm stuck in error-ridden thinking, you want to know who my dude is that helps me? It's Jackson Campbell, right? And there's other people in my life that are just that same way, but that's how I know. And so, just a quick review as we bust that out, and, tune back in next week. We got more to add to this book of the month. I think we're going to take a little bit different take next week. Maybe even hone in on something like relationships, or very business oriented episode next week for the growth mindset piece with this book of Mindset by Carol Dweck. But I just like the trajectory we're on this year. I love all the things that have come to life via the Growth Cast, and we are just getting started. So stay tuned.
Well, Dallas, thank you so much for those kind words, man. I appreciate you and everything that you've done for me in my life. And I know that all the listeners are also very grateful for the daily drips that you do every single day, for diving in deep with me on these Saturday extended cuts. Your efforts are noticed, and I'm very grateful for them. So thank you, my man. Appreciate you. Love you. Appreciate and love all of our listeners as well. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing, leaving us a review, giving us a rating. We appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we will see you back again next week. Take care, y'all.
See you, everybody.